And all along, my mother has had no reflection on her illness. When we use the word Alzheimer's, she goes, "Oh, stop using that word. I don't know what it is." She doesn't think she's sick. So her experience is much different than ours.
Susan Parenti is the daughter of Joe Parenti. Joe is 77 years old and a widow. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease 3 years ago. Joe lives in Skokie, Illinois. Susan lives and works 3 hours south in Urbana, Illinois. At first, there was disagreement between Susan and her siblings about how to care for their mother. Susan's siblings, who live near Joe, thought Joe could get the best care in an assisted living facility. Susan knew Joe wanted to stay at home, so she had an idea.
I just thought if she had one person that was just only for her to kick around with all the time, then she wouldn't be this burden. And that was what was happening. She had become, from a beloved, helping, wise, feisty dame, she'd become a burden.
The next day, Joe had an appointment with a foot doctor.
Susan created a care club for Joe so Joe could have a pal 24 hours a day. The care club is a group of caregivers who, one at a time, live with Joe in her home. Joe's caregivers meet weekly to discuss her care and schedule times to be with her. Caregivers are paid $12 an hour from Joe's savings. 24-year-old Liz Avery is one of Joe's caregivers. She commutes from Urbana to care for Joe.
I like the idea of scheming with a group and have somewhere where I could voice concerns, talk about how the weekend was when I was with Joe, and have someone who would appreciate those things.
Joe likes to get out of the house and do things, including golfing, walking along Lake Michigan, and bowling. One of the joys and challenges of being with Joe is learning to live in the moment.
Joe is a great teacher because it just doesn't work telling her about your dissertation or your car insurance. What's that to her? But having her collate the pages of your car insurance and then saying, let's have a donut right now and let's take a walk. All of this would be something where you get an immediate smile and let's do it. Success is that my family doesn't have that look. My mother doesn't have that look. And the caregivers like to be with her. They're under good circumstances.
Liz is a really terrific gal. That's all.
We're friends, right?
Oh, we're friends. Definitely friends.
If we had a social structure in place, people wouldn't have to be making these either or. Should we spend thousands of dollars on a woman with Alzheimer's, or should we decide not to? And that's, if it were a social structure, people wouldn't have to decide the well-being of one over the lack of another. But we don't have that structure, and people have to make those decisions.